So today's topic is we're going to look at fall planters. When you get near the end of the bedding plant season, your plants that you have, your impatiens might be starting to look a little bedraggled, especially if you spent most of your time this summer at the camp or way away from the home.
Yeah, and certain annuals too aren't as tolerant to the cooler temperatures that come along with the fall, so it's kind of a transition period to some different plants.
Exactly. So we're going to walk along and just have a look. We talked about making one of these planters for you, and it's very easy to do. But here the staff have put together some different combinations, and in these combinations you find sedum, more than one type, sometimes kale, sometimes garden mums, and sometimes monarda or bee balm, and they last so well.
Yeah, bee balm especially. The flowering kale is small here, but it'll get a lot bigger and look really nice and full. And yeah, another thing too about the fall planters they put together are the ones that you can put together at home. It doesn't have to be just for a couple months. You leave it on the porch and then you throw it out. You can actually save a lot of the plants. For example, sedum is a perennial, so if you pull that out just in the nick of time at the end of the season, you can plant that in the garden and that'll come back next year. So it's not just a one-shot deal kind of thing for a lot of these fall planters.
But we have some different styles. If we move along, we're kind of, it'd be a bit of a stretch to reach over to the one in the, in the center here, but there's another combination with a bit of grass and combined with the mums and kale and so on.
Yeah, that fountain grass is a really nice one too. I've got some of that at home. It comes up with this really nice purple millet after not too long, so the planters are going to fill out more. This is not...
yeah, these have just been made up very recently. And
yeah. Another quick thing to mention, we have lots of English ivy left, so you can use that in your fall planters. That's something that a lot of people keep as houseplants as well. So it's not even just plants that you can stick in the garden afterwards. If you pull that out and put it in a pot and leave it in your windowsill, you can keep it all year round. And then use it next year or just keep it inside.
Yeah, and it'll take a bit of cool temperature too before you'd have to bring it in.
Within reason, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Frost is still something to keep an eye on, but
and you can easily cover a planter if you had some tender plants in with your perennials. This one's primarily hardy material, but if you felt you had something that you didn't want to lose or were worried about it, very
or if you have
light.
It somewhere that's really exposed or something, and you think it's gonna the frost is gonna hit it a bit harder, not a bad idea to just cover it up with a sheet or something like that.
We tend to use a lot of the sedum. It attracts the bees and butterflies, and in the early fall they're very busy. Mm-hmm. So it's one of the ones that you'll see it in a lot of the planters in different forms.
Mm-hmm. Creeping Jenny too. This one back here. This is a really popular annual that'll last right into the fall. So you've seen it in our annual planters as well as the fall planters.
Yeah. And I've seen it winter as well, some cases, if you have a sheltered place.
That's the only thing too, certain things you have to look out for. Creeping Jenny is very invasive, so if it makes its way into your garden and out of the fall planter, it'll be hard to get rid of next year.
Exactly. This is a plant, again, that will withstand some frost and be around for it.
Heliotrope, yeah, that comes with some nice flowers too eventually. You can kind of see one of them just starting to flower. All right, so the first question I have, George, is what is the point of getting a fall planter like this? What's your goal? Because I've already got one on my front porch, so why would I need to get a new one?
Yeah, once the summer flowers start to get too much cold weather, then they're going downhill. These ones are perennials and fall flowering plants that will look good right into the fall, right up till mid-November.
Right till the snow falls kind of thing.
Exactly. And the ones we're standing in front of are ones that are typically done with mostly perennials, so they withstand the frost really nicely. Okay,
that's another question I had actually. So if I get a planter and it's got some perennials in it and I want to preserve them until next year, can I just pull everything out and plant it right in the ground and it'll come back next year, or what's the process to do that?
Yes, you could. I would definitely take it out of the planter. The moisture it's better that the moisture can transfer to the soil around. So if they have the planter on, then you have the risk of them getting too wet.
Okay, so don't leave the plastic on and just try to bury it. You
Yeah,
have to
just
pull
try
it
to
all out.
lift the material out carefully.
Okay.
It should stay all together after it's been in for a little while because the roots will be entwined. And then in the spring, if you wanted to, you could separate them to different areas of the garden when the ground's not as hard.
Split it up
Some
a little
people
bit.
even set the thing by turning a container upside down where they plan to plant it. Keep the frost from settling.
Ah, interesting.
Any kind
okay.
of a covering will allow you to be able to step in and put your planter in when you're ready.
Alrighty, so I see a couple different varieties here. Is that all we've got, or is there more to choose from somewhere else?
No, there's a lot of choices in plants that will make beautiful planters. We might consider moving out front to find just the right color for you. You know,
Okay.
some people love deep purples, and
Oh, yeah.
we have it.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, we're in the front of the garden center here now, and we were talking about building planters. And we have a lot of large garden mums and so on, but we have a lot of material that you could choose from to make your own planter. Let's go see what you like, Amanda.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so as we come over here, this is where we get stuff that's in smaller pots that's more manageable that you can put into a pot.
If you like daylilies, there's no reason why you couldn't use those.
Yep,
It
absolutely.
would even be an opportunity if you were looking for one of the fall sales on hosta to maybe put a hosta in your planter. Here's some smaller pots of sedum that you could easily put into a larger container.
Yeah, these
And-
are both things that I think we already saw in the planters that we were looking at. So you can see they come in different sizes.
Yeah, and some nice daisies, brown-eyed Susan. You could use for the fragrance of it.
Oh, yeah.
Lavender is really something that would work nicely into planters.
Yeah, lavender, sage, stuff like that. You put that by your front door, and when you walk out the door, you get a waft of it every time.
And some of us like the really bright colors as we get older, so you know it could be something as lively as that little daisy.
And that's nice, a nice fall color too. There's a lot of the oranges and reds and purples. You put a planter like that on your front porch, stick a hay bale out there with a couple pumpkins, and it looks just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's one of the burgundies, you know, and they work so nicely into the planters.
Oh yeah.
But it's easy to make one that's yours, and you can take as you mentioned earlier, you could have your children involved with choosing the plants and then putting it together. And there's always some sales in the fall, so the price of
It's
plant
a good time
material
to
is
come
a
for
good
plants for sure. Yeah.
good time to shop.
So even though the summer's coming to a close, things are still in full swing here at Scott's Nursery. We've got tons of stuff for you to put in your fall planters, or if you want to save the time, just get a completed fall planter already made up.
And we have a great variety to choose from.